All right, all right. We are live. Hello, hello. Just gonna give it a minute. Just wait for a couple people to get in, and then we'll just go ahead and begin. Give it a couple seconds here. I hope everyone had a fantastic weekend. Had some great fights. Give it a couple seconds here, and we'll go ahead and start. How's everybody doing today? And remember, we are live, so if you guys want to comment or go back and forth, you're more than welcome to. That's part of the reason we are live. There is a comment section there. If you guys want to talk about something I'm speaking of, change the topic. There's something that you want to discuss. Go ahead and use that chat. Don't be shy. This is our boxing channel. This is a community. So you guys want to talk about something? Let's talk about something. But in the meantime, let's wait a couple more seconds here, and then we'll go ahead and start. Some great fights this weekend. I can't wait to start. Let's talk about a couple of these fights here. Some crazy action, huh? I'll just go ahead and begin. So I hope everyone had a great weekend. Happy Monday. Had some great cards. There was 3 cards on Saturday, beginning in the morning. We'll end with that one. I think that was probably the biggest fight. So I think we'll end with that topic. The topic I did want to start with was our top ranked card Saturday evening on ESPN. I hope you guys did catch it. Fantastic fights, by the way. Navarrete versus Eduardo Baez was our main event, with Navarrete defending his WBO featherweight title. That fight was very interesting, not just because the fight itself. Navarrete was out for a minute. There was a couple of things that were there regarding the fight. I know there was some rumors regarding a potential opponent down the line, depending how Navarrete looked on this fight, which is interesting because the fight did not go the way I expected, to be honest with you guys. Eduardo Baez came to win. He came for his title shot, and that's boxing, right? Sometimes you don't know what you're gonna get. You think just by the titles, and then the bell rings, and then you get what you get, right? I mean, that was an amazing fight. I hope you guys didn't miss it. Eduardo Baez did not disappoint at all. I mean, man, I don't know if you want to call it exposure of Navarrete or just great execution by the challenger trying to get that belt, which I think was exactly what happened. I think Baez came to win, and that's what he gave us. He gave us a fantastic fight, a fighter that knew he had a title on the line, and he wanted it. So that's what I think you got. One interesting take on that card was, I think, the commentating. I think the commentating was interesting. They were kind of on Navarrete's case. I know they were bringing a couple things up that I know a lot of boxing fans probably would have never found out about, right? Like, talking about Navarrete's bad habits, eating bad during training camp, having to lose extensive type of weight in order to get to the fight. I thought it was kind of interesting that his own outfit is kind of putting him out there, so to speak. I didn't expect it. I don't think anybody did. I mean, I don't know what it is with that, but it was interesting. I think that's something we kind of bring up a little bit. Like, Bradley was kind of on his case a little bit regarding bad diet. How will we, the fight fans, know that Navarrete is making bad choices as he is if he continues winning? Unless you bring it up, which was the case Saturday night. Interesting. I think it's interesting because usually you get stuff like that when your fighter is on another outlet's either streaming service or network. Usually they try to expose your fighter in that type of ways. They'll bring up things that maybe normally you wouldn't know. Hey, he eats bad, doesn't take it as serious as he does. If it wasn't for him having to cut excess weight, maybe he wouldn't look as bad. I don't know what to take. Me personally, if I was on Navarrete's camp, I'd be pissed. Like, why are you exposing my fighter? We are your fighter. We are top rank, and you're making me look like I'm an unprofessional fighter. I mean, I make weight. So why are you bringing up things that have nothing to do with what you're seeing here? You could bring up rust. You could bring up inactivity. You could bring up those things. You could bring up maybe I need to go up and weight. But to bring up that I have bad habits when I show up as a professional, make the weight, and then fight, it's interesting. It's a little upsetting if you're on that part, if you see it that way, right? But nonetheless, I thought it was very interesting, something to bring up. There might be something more behind it. I know part of that inactivity might was a promotional issue that he was having, not per se with Top Rank, but I believe it was with Beltran and Zamfer. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what it was. I did see him speak about it briefly. He was mentioning there was something going on there, and that was part of the inactivity, which to me makes sense. Inactivity plus a very hungry contender in front of you will give you what you saw Saturday night, right? Like, Navarrete was getting countered. I mean, we're not used to seeing anybody counter Navarrete. Usually goes in there, he gets active once he gets rolling, and then it's hard to stop him, right? It's kind of a downward spiral from there. He just gets active, and then that's that. He takes over. Not so much the case on Saturday night where he had someone like Eduardo Baez in front of him, pushing him back, countering everything he wanted to do. He wanted to win, and that's what I think you saw. I don't think it was so much of bad habits of Navarrete. I think it was more of Eduardo Baez being Eduardo Baez. So very interesting fight. I think there's more to that. I think in the next couple of weeks, maybe we'll hear something, maybe we won't. But it was interesting. Your own promotional outfit making you look bad. I don't know. Interesting. I don't know what you guys thought about that, but that's something I did pick up on it. As far as Navarrete's performance, I think it was, like I said, I think it was more Baez bringing up a great game plan. You counter, you don't allow the champion to get off, you don't let him to get rolling. You stop it right there and then. And I think that's what you saw. I thought you saw someone very ready for a title fight. So great fight. I wasn't disappointed. The only thing that I thought was interesting was the commentating. As far as the performance from Navarrete, I think we get sometimes a little carried away when we see champions be champions and then just outperform the fighter in front of them. When in reality, sometimes you are going to see someone like Baez where that's not going to be enough. They don't care who you are. They don't care your name. They want the belt, and they're going to come for the belt. So great performance, great night of boxing. Other than that, great show. Second card, Omar Figueroa, Libinets, very interesting. Libinets being the fighter called in short notice. I believe they called him in, I want to say sometime Tuesday, maybe Monday. So, I mean, within a week of the fight, very short notice. As we know, Libinets hasn't been on a winning row per se, right? He's been losing the last couple fights. With that though, he pulled it off. He pulled it off. Very interesting. I don't know if it was more. It's an interesting fight. I don't know if it's more of a Libinets just being more than ready to step in and win, right? Like, was it the game plan or was it more of a Omar Figueroa just essentially being done with the sport, right? Um, I don't know if you guys followed that fight per se as much, but I know during the week, there's obviously a lot of interviews that happen during fight week and whatnot. So there's a lot of interesting things you may pick up here and there. One thing that Omar did mention here and there was retirement and whether or not he was going to continue with the sport. Usually, when you start hearing that from a fighter, it's usually it's an alarm. It's not a good thing to hear from a fighter coming into a fight. It's usually something you hear after the fight, depending on the performance. If you start hearing it before a fight, chances are, the mind's probably starting to be made up, if not already made up before the fight. And a lot of times, that's what you end up seeing when they go into the ring, is a defeated fighter. A fighter that just content with what it is. They're done. There's no more hunger. There's no more fight in them. Sometimes that's it, right? It could have been that for Omar. Omar, in his heyday when he was very active, was a very active fighter, right? A lot of punches, a lot of punishment, a lot of back and forth. It does take a lot out of you. That's just the fight itself. That's not even counting the training camp to get ready for something that intense, right? He's always been a high volume puncher. So, it was a great career for Omar. He gave us some great fights. I just think it was just more of that. I think it was just a fighter that I think he was just mentally done. I think this fight was more of a get back for him. He was out with mental health, so just to get back into the ring, just for you, just to be able to do it. I think that was more of what we saw Saturday. I think it was just like a one more fight and done type of deal. Um, and that's essentially the outcome, right? We saw a defeated fighter get defeated. Um, but other than that, good fight. I know in the undercard was a good fight. I'm not sure if you guys caught it, but if you guys haven't, make sure you guys go back and check it out. Uh, Good undercard action on that one. I'll leave it at that. Guys, check it out, and then I'll talk about it more on Wednesday. Undercard was pretty interesting. Yeah. So, anyways, check it out. The one I really do want to get into was the main fight, the big fight Saturday night. Usyk and Joshua 2. My goodness, what a performance those two gave us, huh? Great fight. Um, I wanted to start with Joshua. Uh, Joshua, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I was surprised. I know on Friday I told you guys that I really didn't see Joshua making the adjustments that quickly. I stand corrected. He made a lot of adjustments that I did not expect in that short notice. Yes, it's 8 months, but I mean there was no in between fight, and they went in there and they performed the way they did. I think we got to give him credit for that. I think Robert Garcia did an amazing job getting the champion or the challenger ready for the champion. There was a lot on the table. There was a lot of work to do with a little bit of time and zero room for any type of disaster. Right? They didn't even get a chance to try it, so it was kind of one of those things. Prepare the fighter and let's see how it goes. With that being said, I mean, amazing job. The fact that they were able to change Joshua's perspective in a fight with no time in between was amazing. Um, Joshua was able to look better, right? He went to the body and yes, he did still throw to the head a little too much for my liking per se, but he did not do it as much as he did on the first fight. The adjustment was there and it showed, right? He did have more success, uh, especially in the first half of the fight. I thought he was doing pretty well. Did make it seem at least he made Usyk think a little bit more than in the first fight because Usyk did exactly what he should have done. He went in there with the round 13 mentality, changed nothing, essentially just going with the counter. I'm going to counter. I'm going to move my head. I'm going to keep you moving. I'm not going to allow you to be stationary. You're going to make the adjustments for me. And that's exactly what he did. Uh, but with that being said, Joshua gave it to him. He really put in a great performance. Perhaps a little bit more to the body, a little bit less to the head, right? Because he did still try to, for some reason, I don't know why people try to hit Usyk in the head. You're not going to hit his head. You're just not. He's too lateral. He's too lateral. You got to go to the chest. You got to go to the body. You're not going to hit that head. It's just not going to happen. If you do, it's going to be here and there. Not enough to cause enough to bring him to slow down, right? To a slower pace for you to really catch up and take over the fight. I just don't see that happening, right? Um, but with that, the body work was amazing. I think in that, what was it, the ninth round, I believe, where he really put it on Usyk. He just went to the body. He ripped that combination. It was like a 4-punch combination to the body, and it really hurt Usyk. I mean, he was maybe, I'm not gonna lie, it looked like another 10, 20 seconds away from maybe touching the canvas. I mean, Usyk was really hurt there. Um, I did, I did. I mean, it's hard to it's hard to say what went wrong, right? For Joshua, because there was a lot of plus. There's a lot of pluses to take from this fight. Even though he took a L, it was a 12th round fight with the heavyweight champion of the world. You had a new trainer. You went for it, right? You didn't get dropped. It wasn't a one-sided fight. At least for me, it wasn't a one-sided fight like it was on the first fight. To me, the first fight was pretty clear for Usyk. Where this second fight, I feel Joshua would did a little bit more work, right? I feel he made it more competitive. Like he convinced me more on this second fight than he did on the first fight. Um, but it was a little bit short, just a tiny bit short, right? Just a little bit. Then that's okay, right? Like it's the heavyweight title of the world. You had a new trainer. It's okay. Like you brought it on. You gave us a show. You changed up the game plan. You executed pretty well. I mean, yes, you fell into some bad habits, which is understandable. It's a new trainer. It's gonna happen. That's why usually you see a fight between, before your big fight, because you want to see these little things that you still have to fix. Like, okay, stop going to the head, maybe go more to the body. Those are little tweaks you can do, right? After seeing it live, it's different in a gym. In the gym, everything go perfect. You go to the fight. You saw what happened Saturday night. There's a little bit you got to tweak, right? But if you do the little tweaking, it's the difference between victory and defeat, right? So I think that was the only difference in this fight was just that little in between fight that Joshua could have took. And who knows, he probably would have pulled it off because that ninth round was very close. If he would have just poured it on maybe 20 seconds before he did, right? Like that combination was perfect. Usyk got buckled, went to the ropes. Joshua went to the body. He almost had him. He really hurt him. It was a really big round for Joshua, and it almost ended the fight. So it was interesting. Kilo, what's next for Joshua? What I think is next for Joshua, I was going to get to that, but hey, you know what? I think Joshua will make perfect sense, and I think a lot of people are starting to think that way. Wilder. It makes perfect sense for both fighters right now. Both of them. Fury defeated Wilder twice. Joshua just got defeated twice. It was the fight that we were supposed to get as fight fans, right? When they were both champions, they were both undefeated, right? We were both like everyone wanted that fight, and it fell apart. At this point of their career, why wouldn't you make the fight? It makes perfect sense for both of these guys to go at it next summer or early April, right? Like it makes perfect sense at this time. Wilder's coming back officially, I believe. What is it, October? Joshua just fought, so he probably won't fight until maybe early on in the year. So why not next summer? Wilder and Joshua won because they're probably going to fight more than once if the fight's good enough, which it probably will, right? Why wouldn't it be? The fight should be great. So why wouldn't you want to see it more than once? You can see it once here in Vegas, see the second one in UK or vice versa. Switch it up, whatever. But to me personally, I think that's going to be next for Joshua, and it makes perfect sense. You go in there, you fight someone like Wilder, you put up a great performance, you pull something like that off. Next, who's left, right? There's not much left after that. Maybe Andy Reese. You fight Andy Reese for the third time. You soundly defeat him the third time. Then hey, you're back in there for title contention. Maybe even not the Usyk. Excuse me, not the Reese fight. You might not even need it. He goes in there, fights Wilder, puts up a great performance. Let him go back in there with Usyk. I like the fight. I like the second fight. I thought it was great. Why not see the third time? I wouldn't mind seeing Usyk Joshua 3 after Joshua has a fight in between, right? Like we still need to see something there because after the fight, I mean, we saw what happened with Joshua, right? I mean, the emotions got the best of him, which I think was exactly what happened. He put a lot into this fight. He thought he was going to win. He expected to win and to be that close, especially after that ninth round. I mean, I can only imagine how he felt knowing he was that close to getting his belts back, and then Usyk just comes out round 10 and just takes the fight over like a champ, right? Like he was that close. He was very close to getting his belts back. So that's going to linger with him. He's not going to retire. He's not going to, he's not riding off to the sunset. Nah. I think a Wilder fight puts him back into where he needs to be. And as long as he continues with Robert Garcia, because me personally, I like what I saw within one fight. I didn't even get an in-between fight, and I was amazed how close they were to getting the belts back. I didn't think they were going to be that close, to be honest with you guys. I expected a wipeout. I really did. From what I saw in the first fight, I thought Usyk was just going to go in there, do the same thing, frustrate Joshua, and then make him make the mistake, and good night. That's what I expected, right? Joshua looked very good. Minus the not tantrum, but like the post fight drama. I know that looked bad for Joshua, but you have to understand he had a lot on the line, man. Like that guy's the number one guy in all of UK. He has a lot of weight on his shoulders. He was a heavyweight champion of the world. He's trying to get his belts back. He has a lot of pressure. So to be that close and then not get it to go your way, you're going to get an outburst, right? I mean, it's hard to hold that emotion. Like it was there. I had them. Like they were right there. I can touch the belts. They were that close. I mean, that was the emotion I think we saw from Joshua, right? He's a real fighter. He's motivated. He's hungry. He wants to win. He wants to succeed. So when he didn't get the fight to go the way he wanted, especially the performance he gave us. I mean, it's upsetting. Yeah, you might throw a couple belts on the floor. You're like, screw this and screw this sport and screw everyone, right? That's gonna be your mentality. You're upset. Me personally, I understand. I know he's probably gonna get a lot of backlash this week because he took the flag from Usyk and then threw it on himself and threw the belt and went on the mic and said what he said. But these are two warriors that just went to war. Uh, it's hard to make someone go to that level and then expect them to come back down to speak like a normal human being within 5 minutes. That's hard. It's hard. I'm surprised we don't get more of those outbursts, to be honest with you, because the guy just went to war for 12 rounds and he was literally that close to becoming the man of the world again. So, yeah, he's going to be upset. Yeah, he's probably not going to say things you probably wouldn't say. But then again, you didn't just go to war. You know what I mean? So, I think Joshua's okay. I know he's going to get a lot of backlash this week. The throwing the belts and taking that little, taking the 5 minutes away from Usyk. Probably upset a lot of people, but you have to understand these guys are warriors, man. They're going in there, laying it on the line. Uh, to put yourself out there on Front Street and then to come up short, it's upsetting. So you guys have to give these fighters sometimes the benefit of the doubt, man. Like, especially someone like Joshua, he's never done really anything to upset the sport or upset people around the sport, right? He's always done the right thing the right way. So to me, that's okay. You know what? It's all right, champ. You went 12 rounds. You were close. Yes, you didn't get the decision, but you know what? You can bounce back. There can be a third fight. Why not? Especially in the heavyweight division. How many contenders realistically do we have right now? We probably don't have that many that we can call real contenders, right? That you can really think that, hey, these guys can be the heavyweight champion of the world. There's not much, right? So why wouldn't we see Joshua in there for a third time? Oh, hell. Who's to say Usyk's going to hold the belts, right? You never know. He might lose the belts to someone like Fury, or he might go in there with someone he's not supposed to go in there with and lose them, right? But just like Joshua Reeves, it happens. It's heavyweight fighting. So with that being said, I think Joshua's going to be okay. Kilo. I don't think retirement or all the drama that he's going to face this week is necessary. He's a warrior. He showed to be a warrior. He put it all on the line. He gave us a great performance. He almost went home with the belts. Um, I'm excited to see Joshua back in the ring. I hope he doesn't stay out of the ring too long. I think that's part of a lot of fighters' problem, especially after a loss where they think a loss like this where they wanted it and it's devastating. A lot of times they take a lot of time off because of the mental state aspect of it. I hope that doesn't happen with Joshua. I hope he comes back pretty quickly, sometime maybe hopefully December, January. Give him a hometown fight. Give him a hometown fight. Let him come home the hero. Get that motivation back. At the same time, let him work with someone like Robert Garcia a little bit more. You know what I mean? Like, hey, he gave you the rematch right away, even though he shouldn't have. He should have had a fight in between, but he gave it to you anyways. So to me, he deserves an in between fight. Let him come home. Let him get that motivation back up. Let the crowd get him back into it. Let him get that victory, and then from there, put him in there with someone like Wilder. Because they both need it. They both need it. They both have losses. At this point, there's nothing to protect. Give us the show we wanted. You know what I mean? Like, I still want it. I want it. To be honest with you guys, I want the fight more than I did when they were both undefeated. When they're both undefeated, they wouldn't take the risk as much as they do now. There's nothing to lose now. You've lost. You've been knocked out. Like, it's okay. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this fight is going to be more interesting, I think. I think there'll be a little bit more risk into it. You might see Wilder take an extra punch that maybe he wouldn't have in the first fight. Same thing with Joshua. Like, they're going to take some more risks. So, to me, that's going to be a huge fight next summer. I'm excited for it. I think that's what's going to happen. I hope that's what happens. And to be honest, it needs to happen for both fighters. They both need a big victory like that. So why not give it to us? Give us the fight we wanted anyway. So it'll sell. It'll get them back on the victory roll. And then who knows? Who knows? Maybe we'll see them back in the ring with Usyk, either Wilder or Joshua, depending who wins. So to me, I think that's what's going to happen. I think we'll see them next summer. As long as they keep winning, I think Wilder will win in October. They'll probably give him another fight in January. And then from there, I think next summer, sometime June or July, we'll get a big fight between the two, which I can't wait. I personally can't wait. I hope it's in Vegas so I can go see live, because there's nothing more exciting than two heavyweight champs like this going in the ring. You know what I mean? Like, these are the heavyweight champs. Like, holy cow, that fight would be exciting, right? Wilder's bombs versus Joshua's, oh my God, it's a great fight. It's a great fight. It's even better now. They've lost. There's nothing to protect. There's so much to gain. Let's get it. That's the fight I want. That's the fight I want. That is honestly. Um, as far as Usyk, what I think it's next for Usyk, I think Usyk is gonna do the smart thing. I don't think he's gonna have any more fights. I think he's gonna do what a lot of fighters should be doing. He's gonna stay on the sidelines until he gets the fight that he wants. He has no promoter, right? He just has his manager, and his manager is very pro. You know what I mean? Like they have a great manager. He takes care of his fighters, right? Like he's known in the boxing game for taking care of his fighters. So he's gonna give Usyk what he wants, right? And Usyk only wants Fury. So that's the only fight I think we're going to see Usyk in. Will it happen this year? No, I don't think so. I think that fight will probably happen closer to March. I think sometime in March, maybe late February is probably maybe we'll start hearing that fight. Um, but it will happen. It has to happen. There's too much on the line for both of these fighters to be at the level they're at and to have the possible undisputed be on the line for the heavyweight. I mean, to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, there's no way around it. You have to take it. You have to take this fight. Like, why wouldn't you? So, to me, Usyk and Fury will happen. I think we'll see it next year. We'll finally have an undisputed heavyweight champion of the world, which is exciting. This is what we want to see as boxing fans. We want to see undisputed champs. We want to see the man, right? You want to have the man in the division. So I think that's what's going to happen with Usyk. We'll have undisputed. Joshua will make the climb back, or at least he's going to attempt it. But outstanding performance by both fighters Saturday night. To me, there was no negative as far as their careers. They both fought well. They went 12 rounds. No one got severely hurt. Um, other than emotional, right? It was just an emotional toll for Joshua, but that's okay. I think that's something he can bounce back from. You give him a good enough fight, he'll be back. He'll be okay. So exciting weekend. I was very excited with everything that happened Saturday night. Interesting takes. Yeah, Top Rank. Interesting take on Navarrete. We'll see what happens there. Omar, happy retirement. Thank you for the performances. Outstanding fighter. I think a lot of people expected him to retire. So I hope retirement goes well. Thank you for the performances, man. Appreciate it. And last but not least, Usyk and Joshua. Heavyweight performance, great fight. To me, as a fight fan, I am not disappointed. I am extremely happy with the way both fighters came out and gave us a show. I can't wait to see what happens with both fighters. I hope Joshua makes the climb back. You're still young. You still have it. I didn't see anything there that shows me that you're done, right? Especially your heart. Your heart's there. I mean, there's so much passion there for the sport. So why wouldn't you come back? So outstanding performance from everyone. Joshua will be back. Don't worry about it. Usyk is the man, heavyweight champ. Let's see what happens with Fury. Other than that, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Short show. I hope you guys come back Wednesday. We're going to try to keep it consistent. We'll start Wednesday, 10 a.m. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great week, okay? Take care.